Good morning everyone. Now I demonstrate how to tie the slip knot. First, what is slip knot? Slip knot is very easy and quick to tie. It is technically a slip noose and is made using the fisherman's uni knot with just 1, 2, or 3 turns. In tying the slip knot, we need a rope. So the first, make a loop by doubling the line back onto itself. Step 2. Run tag end back toward the loop and lay over the double lines like here, like this. 3. Make 1 or 2 turns with tag end around double line through new loop created. So 1, 2, and like this. Then last step, slide the rope. That's all. And this is the slip knot. Now, let us watch a video on how to set up a tent. Because for now, I don't have a tent. Let us watch the video.
Works.gov. And 2, you need to make sure you have all the materials to your tent. And the third is you should practice because you don't want to arrive at your campsite in a thunderstorm and get all wet. Let's make sure we have everything we need in our tent. Here's our bag. We've got our tent poles, our rain fly, the body of the tent, stakes, and our ground tarp. Now, not every tent comes with a ground tarp or a footprint, so make sure you buy one if it doesn't come with it. And that's everything. So every tent is different, but they all have the same basic steps. First step is to get your ground tarp and lay it out with the shiny side facing up. The second step is to lay the body of your tent on top of the ground tarp. When you lay your tent out, if you want your door in a certain direction, make sure you place it in that way. So you can see that there's a door on this side and there's a door on the opposite side. Some tents will have colored tabs that correspond to the ground tarp. So that ensures that you match it to the right side. The third step is to assemble your tent poles. Most of them easily fit into one another. All right, your next step is to attach the poles to the body of your tent. Now, some tents don't have what this tent has, which is a sheath that I'll be pushing the poles through. Some have clips, so yours might be different from this. Next, you're gonna take your tent pole and put it into this little circle here. It's called a grommet. So don't be afraid, your tent pole isn't gonna break, though it may feel like it's gonna break. So some tents will have additional poles that will help expand your tent, but your tent may not have it. I'm going to show you real quick. Just fit it into the grommet and into the other grommet. So now we're going to put the rain fly on top of the tent. I told you that some tents will have a tab that corresponds to the body of the tent. So I'm going to make sure this red tab goes to this red tab. And that makes sure the door matches up with this door. Now we're going to put the grommet of the rain fly underneath the tent pole. We're going to fit it in there on each side. We're not going to tighten the rain fly just yet. We're going to wait until it's staked. Now we're going to stake our tent, and this makes sure that when you're moving around in your tent isn't moving with you, or if there's a lot of wind, your tent isn't blowing away. So I'm going to start in the corners. All right, you're going to put your stake through both loops of the body of the tent and the rain fly, and you're going to put the stake in at a 45-degree angle. Now sometimes it can be hard to push in, so you may need to grab a mallet. You can also use your foot. And I'm going to go on the opposite side to make sure it's really tight. After you do the corners, you want to do the sides of the tent and make sure that your door is closed. So this tent has 2 tabs, and then there's some on the side of your tent. This just makes sure when it rains that the rain goes off of the tent and not inside your tent. The last step is to tighten your rain fly. Your tent may not have this, but most of the new tents do. I'm gonna pull up on this tab to cinch the tent to make it tighter on all corners. The gap between the rain fly and your tent is called the vestibule, and this is a great place to store your dirty shoes but keep them dry. Most tents have a way for you to keep your door open by just simply rolling it all the way to this loop here, and you just fit this piece into the loop. You can also roll your tent at the bottom here, and that's your tent.
Do you know that Japanese square lashing is an easy and fast alternative to the square lashing technique? So, scouts normally use this Japanese square lashing because it involves tying club heads. First step po, pagsamahin natin dalawang kawayan, i-cross lang po natin siya para po makabuo ng right angle. Second step naman po, pagpantay natin ang dalawang dulo ng ating tali. At ang kabilang dulo naman po ang ilalagay natin sa bottom part ng bamboo stick. Yan. Tapos po ito turn po natin siya pa left side. Yan. Yan po. Para po makabuo ng X sa gitna. Next step naman po ay wrapping turns. Pantay lang po natin siya sa vertical side ng vertical stick. Yan, paharap po. Yan. Sunod naman po ay patalikod. Yan, ganyan po siya sa likod. Alternate lang po, ganun lang po ang gagawin natin. Yung side naman. Side naman po. Ganun ulit. Pantay lang po ulit. Then, ganito, paharap. Dapat po ilahin po natin sa libo para po matibay. Yung kabila po ulit. Lang po. Ayan. Ilahin po natin siya. Then, next step naman po, ang third step naman po ay wrapping turn. Ito pong isang tali ay lalagay po natin siya dito sa taas. Ayan. Then, ito naman pong isa ay ito po sa baba. Yan. Para po maka-form siya ng X sa gitna. Cross lang po natin siya. Yan. Yan, tighten up. Yan. Next naman po, taas natin po itong isang tali. Then, paharap po dito. Yan. Kabilang side. Kung baba naman po ay paganto. Sa baba niya paharap. Yan. Then cross lang po siya ulit. Tapos lang po. Ganito na po siya sa likod. Side na po siya dito. Tali na. Then, next ko ay pataas lang po ulit ito. Sa taas. Then, isa naman po ay sa baba. Alternate lang po ulit ang topping turn. Then, tighten up. Then, pataas. Then, baba naman po. Tapos lang natin. Next step naman po ay square knot. Tighten up. Then, isa pa po ulit. Tighten up. Ito na po ang Japanese square lashing. Pero po, dahil may sobra po tayong tali, pwede po natin siyang gawing fletches para po secure na matibay po ang ating pagkakatali. Ayan. Then, kabila po, talikod. Then, tapos po natin sa itas. Ayan, ito po. Then, tighten up. Then, tali lang po natin siya sa likod. Square knot. Yan. Ito po na ang ating Japanese square lashing sa likod. Ito na po ang ating Japanese square lashing. Sana po ay nakasunod kayo kung paano siya gawin. Thank you po. Everyone, it is very important to have a well-stocked first aid kit in your home so that you can deal with a minor accident and injuries. And your first aid kit should be locked and kept in a cool, dry place and out of reach of children. In our home, we have our own first aid kit. Our first aid kit are contained of band-aid, medicine tablet like paracetamol, medicine cup, Buscopan, agua oxinada, alcohol, thermometer, cotton balls, petroleum jelly, bandage, and povidone iodine prep pads or betadine pad. We have a scissor and a alcohol pad used to cover wounds. So, yun po ang lahat ng laman ng aming first aid kit. Hindi po siya kompleto. Kulang po siya ng plaster, tweezers, sterile gauze dressing, disposable sterile gloves, skin crush cream, and many more. Now guys, I demonstrate how to apply a bandage to an injured wrist. Start around the wrist. Don't secure your bandage so tight that fingers become pale or blue. Second step, travel up and around. bandage with a bandage clip. Fourth step, check the circulation of the blood. Just pinch the finger if it gets pale or blue. Then ask the injured patient if he or she feel numb and tingly. So that's all on how to apply a bandage to an injured wrist.